thinking they might just put some others in there.
Usually that's what I ask them to do.
You know, as a double-blind study that way.
Yeah, but a lot of times they'll send me photographs of other police officers, and, you know, I know immediately, why are you sending me all these police officers? There's only one criminal here.
Yeah, you can weed those out right away then.
Oh, yeah, those are really simple, but when they send in kind of suspicious type people, then it's a little more interesting.
Uh-huh. But, no, I didn't realize you were working on murder cases that much, you know, constantly like that. I think that would be a terrible drain on you.
I go into burnout every few months where I just go flat. I can't do anything psychic. Nothing. I don't even dare drive.
You're that burned out. You just want to go to bed?
Well, I can't feel anything. I can't reach out psychically. I just go into this burnout, and I'm better off just watching TV and vegging out.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah, because otherwise that'd be a constant pressure. You know, that's what other psychics have told me, to be constantly picking up on the thoughts of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It's too hard.
It's very difficult. It really is.
Some of them say they had to learn to put shields up, because if they went out into the public, they were picking up on everyone's thoughts around them.
I don't go into the public very often. I do shield up when I go into the public.
So I was thinking you'd do the same way. You'd pick up on their thoughts, wouldn't you?
I can. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to other people's thoughts.
But I mean, unless you have a way of turning it off, it's like a radio station that'll always be on.
I can shut down because I use psychometry.
Uh-huh.
So I shut down when I'm not using psychometry.
Uh-huh. And psychometry, the way I understand it, is handling objects, too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And getting information from that.
Absolutely.
But this would you'd have to be, though, if the person was dead, that you were trying to work on that case.
Well, I work off the photograph of the individual.
Yeah.
And that leads me back to their signature energy. Because in truth, to me, there's no such thing as death.
Yeah, I believe that, too, in my work.
You know, I believe in a life after death. So it's a matter of tuning in to them at that point in time.
Have you ever had it happen where the deceased has tried to contact you directly from the spirit side?
Yes.
That way you're not just working with inanimate things, you're actually working with their spirit?
Oh, yes, that has happened. I've had them leap into my body, so to speak.
Oh.
And take me over.
What was that like?
That was a little rough. Just a little rough. That happened, again, on this last case that I worked on that we did for Psychic Detective. The spirit of the girl leaped into my body at the place she got shot at.
Uh-huh.
And off we went with the police, with the detective. It was hard on me.
It's as though she was waiting there at that place for someone to come along or something?
You know what? I think so.
Just somebody to help with it, I guess.
Somebody to help her. Yeah.
Well, then how do you get rid of them when something like that happens?
Well, I now know how to deal with that. For years, I did not know how to deal with it, so they kind of stayed with me.
That's not good.
No, it wasn't good at all, especially when two of them had died from broken necks, and I had really serious neck problems from them.
Yeah, you'd pick up on the symptoms they died of.
Oh, you bet. But I have learned that I work now with what I call the Band of Mercy, who are spirits of people who have been caught or earthbound, and that who have gone into the light and now come and help others that are caught.
Yeah.
And I simply ask the Band of Mercy to remove any unclean spirits that are attached to me. Unclean, but meaning not cleansed by the light of God.
Yeah. They're still kind of earthbound?
Yeah, they're still earthbound. And take them into the light or into sanctuary in the name of Jesus Christ. And I'm completely cleared. It's automatic.
Yeah, because otherwise it goes into the theories of possession.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
But some of this work could be dangerous in that way. You don't want that to happen to you, you know.
Oh, it could be highly dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have another friend who's a psychic, and she said in the beginning she had to learn how to shield this. Sometimes the person would come and wake her up in the middle of the night. He's standing by the side of the bed.
Oh, my.
You know, and say, you've got to tell me. One of them was a 14-year-old boy, and he kept waking her up, and she kept saying, leave me alone, leave me alone. But he said, you've got to go and talk to my mother. You have to tell her this and this. And she didn't know the mother. So it was very disturbing. It was like, will you please leave me alone?
Yeah, I've had some.
You had anything like that happen?
Yeah, I was actually driving with my husband, and we passed an overturned four-wheeler, and the driver apparently had died, and he leaped into my body and just wanted to let his wife know what had happened to him. He was scared to death and frantic.
You were the first available vehicle, I guess, that he could hop into.
You bet. And I've had things like that occur my entire life.
But, you know, the other people, if it happened to them, they wouldn't even know what it was, but you could pick up on what it was. Exactly.
Well, I've made myself knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And most people are afraid to even make themselves knowledgeable. Because they're afraid if they have more knowledge, more things will happen.
Yeah, but, you know, that's our brainwashing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Tell us something about you said this happened all your life?
Yeah.
Tell us something about your early life, when you first found out you could do these things, or what?
Well, when I was about 4 years old, we lived in California, in Almaden, and it was very mountainous pasture land. And I was roaming the pasture. I always roam pastures. And I went to this lady's house, and it was a big redwood house. And I asked the lady for a drink of water. Well, she said, if you'll go around to the side, there's a faucet over there, and you can get you a drink of water. And I went, okay. So I got a drink of water, and then I went back, and I thanked her. And I made note of her. She was a pretty woman.
Yeah.
And I went to my uncle's house. He lived on top of the hill. We lived halfway down. And my uncle and my father were there, and I was telling them about this really nice lady in this redwood house. And they both looked a little shocked, and my dad got really upset. And they said, that woman's dead. That house burned down 10 years ago.
Oh.
So that was kind of the kicker for me.
Yeah.
From there on, my first murder case that I ever worked, I was 12.
Wow, that did start young.
Yeah, I started way young. And I had a reputation in school for knowing things I shouldn't know. Okay.
You know how kids are. They can be very cruel.
Horrific. So the police came to see me, and they brought a photograph of my classmate and said that they had heard that he had a crush on me and that they thought he had come to see me, but they didn't know where he was. Well, I knew they were lying because we didn't actually like each other.
Yeah.
And I touched the photograph, and all of a sudden I saw him being shot in the back by a young Hispanic boy because the boy accidentally fell with the gun in his hand.
So it wasn't deliberate then?
No, it was an accident.
Uh-huh.
And I told the police this, and I told them that he was in the pasture behind where he lived, but it was about half a mile in the pasture. And so, sure enough, that's what happened.
Well, they believed you anyway.
Well, yeah, they apparently did because they found him, and they found the Hispanic boy, and the boy told them, and it matched with what I said, and it was all okay.
Uh-huh. Because sometimes they'll think, well, you know too much. Maybe you were involved.
I think they kind of thought that in the beginning. Yeah, I really do. And I've had cases where they've told me, we know that you did it because you couldn't know this much.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So, you know, you get both sides of this. But you did start very young then.
Yeah, it was way young. It was just way young.
But the police did believe you. Did they ask you to do any more after that?
No.
Not in that town, in that area?
No, it kind of freaked them out, I think.
I think you would. That would have been quite a while ago.
And, you know, that was way back when, and there were no such things as psychics.
Yeah. was all work of the devil or whatever.
Oh, yeah, you were a witch or whatever.
Oh, yeah, witch is a good one. They always like to say that.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Uh-huh.
Then I worked with the FBI when I was 16, and I broke a 5-state drug and prostitution ring.
Oh, well, how did it happen they called you in on that?
Well, actually, there was a prostitute who begged me for help. She said, I don't know who you are, but I've got to have help. I need help. Please help me. And I went, okay.
You didn't know any different?
No. She wanted help. I helped her. So a friend of mine who went to school, his mother was an FBI agent, and so I told her this woman needed help, and then I told her all the information that I picked up by touching into this woman, and they were able to break the prostitution ring, and the woman got freed.
Hmm. So they didn't have any problem then letting you work on this?
No.
Because I was thinking you're 16 is kind of young to ask you to come in on a case.
You know, you're right. I never really thought about it one way or the other.
Not in those cases. But you've been at it ever since then, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, from there on, it just was all the time.
I didn't realize you were working so extensively now with all of these, the murder cases, because you do have your own psychic center. You get normal cases too, don't you?
I love normal cases.
That's a relief, isn't it?
Yeah. I love it when somebody says, is this the guy I should marry or not marry? That's great.
Yeah, should I take this job or that job?
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that. Or, I'm in the midst of a divorce. What is my husband going to do, or what is my wife going to do?
Yeah.
Or give me a nice embezzlement case. That's pleasant. That'll work.
Yeah. You don't like the heavy stuff all the time.
Yeah. Well, prior to Psychic Detectives, I was working about 200 cases a year, and that was fine.
Uh-huh.
That was good. After Psychic Detectives, it just skyrocketed.
Yeah, I did happen to see you on one of those, and I think you did a very good job.
Well, thank you.
But now they're asking you to do more, and because of that publicity, you're having more cases then.
Exactly. That's
well,
exactly.
But tell us something about your center. It's the Carol Pate Psychic Center, and you can get in on this on the website, can't you?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Tell them about that. What do you do there?
My husband and I took a house that sits on 1.5 acres and converted it to a psychic center where I have books and jewelry. I have great jewelry. All sorts of gifts, and I've got a hydrothermal table where, if you're stressed out, you can lie on it, and it has jets, and it massages your back. I have a Baytar where you can lie on it and get massaged with music. It's a table that has speakers in it. And I do my reading in one of the rooms there, my reading room. And it stays pretty busy. And it's
you have other people working for you, too, though, don't you?
Well, I have another lady that works with me, yes. But I don't have, like, a bunch of employees or anything.
But you don't have any other psychics working there, then?
No. I tried working with other psychics and bringing them in, and I found that it just didn't work. Ego problems.
Yeah, ego, definitely. And sometimes the energies just aren't compatible.
And sometimes they just weren't what I hoped they would be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a lot of times, I know in my work, too, and in my publishing company, we're running into a lot of greed.
Oh, yeah.
Greed and ego keep seeping in.
Oh, yeah.
And so, no, you can't work with that kind of energies anyway.
No. Well, a lot of the psychics that are out there, and I'm finding out there aren't many psychics out there.